Officials with the Department of Homeland Security say more than 200 people have been arrested in Maine since ICE agents started enforcement operations, ramping them up last week. Officials say the ICE operation in Maine would target, quote, the worst of the worst criminal illegal aliens who have terrorized communities, unquote. Homeland Security did not answer follow-up questions about those arrested in Maine since the first day of the operation, but did say 70% of all ICE arrests nationwide are of illegal aliens charged with or convicted of a crime in the U.S.